Hey there, friends. Have you ever wondered why some folks barely make it to 80 while others dance into their 90s with a sparkle in their eyes? It's not just luck or genes. There's a hidden divide, and it's quietly shaping how long and how well we live. I'm here to share 5 surprising reasons that silently chip away at longevity, things your doctor might not even mention. These aren't the usual suspects like smoking or poor diet. They're subtle forces that could mean the difference between struggling in your 70s or celebrating your 90th birthday surrounded by loved ones. Meet Dr. Eleanor Roberts, a brilliant geriatric specialist who spent 35 years uncovering why some patients thrive while others fade fast, even with similar health profiles. Her groundbreaking research, backed by science, shows that overlooked factors can make or break your golden years. Don't be discouraged. There's hope, and you can start changing things today. Stick with me, and let's discover how to not just live longer, but live better. Ready to take control of your future? Let's dive in. Factor 1, loss of purpose and meaning. You know, there is something truly special about waking up each day with a reason to get out of bed. Research from the world's blue zones, those incredible places where people routinely live past 100, shows just how powerful this is. They found that folks with a clear sense of purpose, what the Okinawans call ikigai, or your reason for being alive, 7 to 10 years longer than those without it. That is huge. Dr. Eleanor Roberts saw this in her own patients. After tracking people post-retirement, she noticed something striking. Those who held on to meaningful roles, whether it was volunteering or teaching a skill, aged so much slower both mentally and physically compared to those who saw retirement as just time to kick back. This hits home because our culture often sells us a myth. Does it not? We are told retirement is all about golfing, cruising, or endless relaxation. But Dr. Roberts warns that is a trap. Our brains and bodies were not built for decades of leisure. They crave purpose. And the science is fascinating. Having a purpose lowers stress hormones like cortisol, reduces inflammation, and even protects the tiny caps on your DNA called telomeres, which control how fast your cells age. Without purpose, you are leaving years on the table. Let me share a story about Margaret, a 72-year-old former accountant who turned her life around. After retiring, Margaret started tending to her small backyard garden, just for fun. But then she learned about food insecurity in her neighborhood. Something clicked. She rallied her neighbors, secured an unused lot, and built a community garden that now feeds dozens of families. Here is the amazing part. Margaret's arthritis, which had been getting worse, actually stabilized. Even with all that extra physical work, her inflammation markers dropped, and her cognitive tests stayed steady when most people her age would show decline. It is inspiring. Right. Purpose did that for her. So, how can you find your own purpose? Dr. Roberts has 3 practical tips. First, think about your unique contribution. Beyond your old job title, ask yourself, what problems can I solve with my wisdom and skills? It is about feeling needed, not just busy. Second, try the Japanese ikigai framework. It helps you find the sweet spot where what you love, what you are good at, what the world needs, and what can sustain you all meet. Third, start small but stick with it. Purpose does not have to be grand. Volunteering weekly at a local shelter can mean more than a one-time big event. I am curious what gets you up in the morning. Whether it is big or small, share your purpose with us. Your story might light a spark for someone else who is searching. Purpose is a game changer, but there is more to come. So let us keep going. Factor 2, social isolation and loneliness. It is a heavy topic. I know, but stick with me because there is hope ahead. You might be shocked to hear this, but a groundbreaking study from Brigham Young University found that social isolation increases your risk of mortality by a staggering 29%. That is as dangerous as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Let that sink in for a moment. Being disconnected from others can harm your health as much as a pack-a-day habit. Dr. Eleanor Roberts, our incredible geriatric specialist, saw this firsthand over her 35-year career. She could often predict which patients would decline fastest, not based on their medical charts, but by noticing changes in their social connections. Those with strong community ties consistently outlived those who became isolated. Even if the isolated folks looked healthier on paper, let me tell you about Frank, a 76-year-old widower who moved across the country to be closer to his daughter after his wife passed away. On the surface, it seemed like the perfect plan: better medical care, family nearby. But within 18 months, Frank's health took a nosedive. Dr. Roberts figured out why. Frank had left behind a 40-year social network, his coffee group, his volunteer buddies, neighbors who checked on him daily. Even though he was closer to family, his daily human interactions dropped by over 80%. It is heartbreaking, is it not? The science backs this up. Loneliness triggers a stress response that ramps up inflammation, weakens your immune system, and even changes how your genes work. In short, your body ages faster when you are isolated. But here is the good news: you can turn this around. First, try technology that is built for seniors. Beyond video calls, platforms like Alera or Senior Planet connect older adults based on shared interests. Not just family ties. It is about finding your people. Second, look for local programs with regular schedules, like those at senior centers, community colleges, or faith-based groups. The consistency creates accountability and builds real relationships, not just one-off events. Third, rebuild connections after big life changes using what Dr. Roberts calls the concentric circles approach. Start with one weekly commitment, maybe a book club or a walking group that puts you with the same folks regularly. Then, slowly expand from there. I would love to hear from you. What is one social connection that keeps you vibrant? Or, if you have felt isolated lately, what is one small step you could take this week to reconnect? Your story could inspire someone else listening right now. Social connections are powerful, but they are just the start. Let us keep going. Factor 3. Medication cascade effects. Did you know that the average American over 65 takes more than 5 prescription medications every single day? That does not even include over-the-counter drugs or supplements. It is a lot, right? The problem is something doctors call polypharmacy, where taking multiple medications can lead to a dangerous domino effect. Here is how it works. One medication's side effects get mistaken for a new health problem. So another drug is prescribed to treat that, which causes more side effects, and on and on. It is like a chain reaction that can spiral out of control. Dr. Eleanor Roberts saw this pattern time and again in her 35 years as a geriatric specialist. She once told me, "I have seen patients whose health crumbled not from their original conditions, but from the piling up effects of their medications." One patient was on 14 different prescriptions from 3 specialists who never talked to each other. It is frustrating to think about, is it not? The science here is sobering. A Johns Hopkins study found that polypharmacy is behind nearly 30% of all hospitalizations in older adults. That means almost 1 in 3 seniors end up in the hospital, not because of their illness, but because of problems with their medications. That is a wake-up call. But here is where hope comes in. You can take steps to protect yourself. Dr. Roberts shares 4 practical strategies to keep your medications in check. First, ask for a comprehensive medication review with a clinical pharmacist or geriatric specialist at least once a year. This is not your usual doctor visit. It is a focused appointment to look at all your medications together, including over-the-counter stuff and supplements. Second, get curious about each medication you take. Ask your doctor 3 key questions. What specific symptom or condition does this treat? What would happen if I stopped taking it? Are there non-drug options? You might be surprised to learn some medications you started years ago are no longer needed. Third, learn about the deprescribing movement. It is a medically supported way to safely cut back on unnecessary medications. The Canadian Deprescribing Network has great resources you can bring to your next doctor's appointment. Fourth, use tools to manage your medications better. Beyond a basic pill organizer, apps like MediSafe can track your drugs and flag potential interactions. Some pharmacies even offer special packaging that groups your medications by time of day. Making things easier, I would love to hear from you. When was the last time you had all your medications reviewed? Or maybe you have successfully reduced your medications with your doctor's help. Share your story with us. Your experience could encourage someone else to take this important step. Medications are tricky, but with the right approach, you can stay in control. Let us keep moving forward. Factor 4, chronic inflammation in gut health. This is about something called inflammaging, a sneaky, low-grade inflammation that speeds up aging throughout your body. It is not just about an upset stomach. It is about how fast your entire system ages. Dr. Eleanor Roberts noticed a pattern in her patients over her long career. Those with ongoing digestive issues age faster across the board: heart, brain, muscles, you name it. At first, she thought these were separate problems. But science has since shown they are all linked through inflammation pathways. Recent studies have uncovered a powerful connection between your gut, your brain, and this inflammation. It is a game changer for understanding aging. The science here is eye-opening. As we age, the diversity of our gut microbiome naturally shrinks, and it happens even faster in places where processed foods are common, like here. Less diversity means more inflammation, which accelerates aging. After 65, your body reacts more strongly to inflammatory triggers, and it is harder to bounce back, creating a perfect storm for faster aging. Dr. Roberts saw this clearly. Her patients with gut issues showed signs of decline much sooner than those with healthier digestion. It is a bit worrying, right? But there is a bright side, and it is inspiring. Take Howard, a 75-year-old patient of Dr. Roberts. He had concerning inflammation levels and early signs of cognitive decline. After 6 months of focusing on his gut health, the results were stunning. His inflammation markers normalized, his cognitive tests improved, and even his arthritis pain eased up. That is the kind of turnaround that gives you hope. Dr. Roberts shares 4 evidence-based ways to tackle this, tailored for seniors. First, adopt an anti-inflammatory diet like the Mediterranean or MIND diet, but tweak it for older digestive systems to handle age-related changes in how you absorb nutrients. Second, rebuild your gut health with prebiotic and probiotic foods. But timing matters. Eating them at specific intervals, not all at once, works better for seniors. Third, watch out for hidden inflammation triggers in your environment. Some medications, household chemicals, or even certain supplements can spark inflammation in older bodies, so it is worth checking. Fourth, focus on the right kinds of fiber and fermented foods for aging digestive systems. Soluble fiber, like oats or legumes, often works better than insoluble fiber for seniors. I am curious, have you noticed a link between your digestive health and how vibrant you feel? What foods make you feel your best? Share your thoughts with us. Your experience might help someone else make a connection. Gut health is a big deal, but we are not done yet. Let us keep going. Factor 5, stress response and sleep quality. This connection becomes critical after 65, and it is something we all feel in our daily lives. Right. The Harvard Longitudinal Aging Study, which followed people for over 2 decades, found something remarkable. The way your body handles stress over time is a stronger predictor of how long you will live than cholesterol, blood pressure, or even genetics. That is powerful. Dr. Eleanor Roberts explains it like this. Stress and sleep are locked in a two-way relationship that can either speed up aging or slow it down. Poor sleep ramps up your stress response, and high stress wrecks your sleep, creating either a vicious cycle of decline or a virtuous cycle of resilience. It is a bit unsettling to think about, is it not? This matters more as we age because, after 65, your sleep patterns and stress responses naturally shift. Your circadian rhythm changes, deep sleep decreases, and your body is less efficient at managing stress hormones. Dr. Roberts found that patients who slept well consistently showed up to 70% less cognitive decline than those with poor sleep. Here is the kicker. During specific sleep phases, your brain literally cleans itself, flushing out inflammatory proteins that can speed up cognitive aging. Without those cleaning cycles, things build up, and that is not good. Let me tell you about Elizabeth, a 72-year-old former teacher who came to Dr. Roberts with worrying cognitive changes and constant anxiety. Traditional treatments were not helping. But after 3 months of targeted sleep and stress management designed for her age, Elizabeth turned things around. Her memory tests improved, her inflammation markers dropped, and her quality of life soared by 40%. That is the kind of hope we are talking about. So, how can you make this work for you? Dr. Roberts shares 4 age-specific strategies that are different from the usual advice. First, practice senior-specific sleep hygiene that accounts for how aging changes your body. This might mean a slightly warmer sleeping environment, not cooler, and strategic light exposure to match your shifted circadian rhythm. Second, try stress management techniques proven to work better for older adults, like mindfulness-based stress reduction or heart rate variability training. These have stronger results for seniors than for younger folks. Third, rethink the timing of rest and activity. The standard 16 hours awake, 8 hours of sleep model does not work as well after 65. Alternating periods of engagement and rest throughout the day is more effective. Fourth, understand why typical sleep advice often fails seniors. Tips like avoiding naps or sticking to a rigid bedtime need tweaking to fit natural changes in your sleep patterns. I would love to hear from you. What is your biggest sleep challenge? Or maybe you have found something that really helps you sleep better. Share your story with us. Your experience could be the key someone else needs. These factors are all connected, so let us see how they come together next. Interconnected approach and sequencing. These 5 factors we have talked about: loss of purpose, social isolation, medication cascades, chronic inflammation, and the stress-sleep connection are not just separate issues. They weave together into an interconnected web that can either drag you down or lift you up as you age. Dr. Eleanor Roberts discovered something powerful in her research. When you address these factors in the right order, the benefits multiply far beyond what you would expect from tackling each one alone. It is like a ripple effect that can transform your health, but if you ignore them, they can create a downward spiral that is hard to escape. That is a bit daunting. Right. But the good news is you can take control, and the results can be life-changing. Dr. Roberts found there is an optimal sequence to tackle these factors for maximum impact. Start with a medication review to clear out any unnecessary drugs that might be clouding your system. This sets the stage for the next step, addressing inflammation and gut health. Getting those under control creates a strong physical foundation that makes it easier to improve your stress response and sleep quality. With your body in a better state, You are then ready to rebuild social connections and rediscover a sense of purpose. This order is key because each step builds on the last, creating what Dr. Roberts calls a virtuous cycle of longevity. For example, reducing inflammation improves your sleep, which boosts your stress resilience, which makes socializing more enjoyable, which then further lowers inflammation. It is like a beautiful upward spiral of health. What is so inspiring is how quickly you can feel the difference. Dr. Roberts saw patients report more energy and mental clarity within days of sorting out their medications. Within weeks of adopting anti-inflammatory strategies, joint pain often eased up. After 1 to 2 months of better sleep, cognitive function typically showed measurable improvements. And within 3 to 6 months of building meaningful social connections and purpose, even biological markers of aging could start to reverse. It is incredible to think about, is it not? Your body is ready to respond. No matter your age, these steps work together to create a foundation for not just a longer life, but a vibrant one. Stick with me, because we are about to tie it all together with some practical tools to make this real for you. Interconnected Dr. Roberts' Daily Checklist. Now, let us make this all practical with a simple tool Dr. Eleanor Roberts developed to help you tackle these 5 factors every day. It is a daily checklist that weaves together everything we have discussed, and it is designed to fit into your life without feeling overwhelming. Think of it as your roadmap to not just living longer, but living better. Knowing these factors can quietly chip away at your health can feel a bit heavy. Right. But this checklist is like a lifeline, giving you clear, doable steps to take control. It is empowering to know you can make a difference, one day at a time. Here is how it works. Every day, focus on these 5 actions. 1. Take your medications intentionally. Always question any new symptoms to catch potential cascades early. 2. Include at least 3 anti-inflammatory foods in your meals, like berries, leafy greens, or nuts, to keep inflammation in check. 3. Practice one stress regulation technique before noon. Maybe a few minutes of deep breathing or mindfulness to set a calm tone for your day. 4. Prioritize sleep quality with age-specific habits, like dimming lights in the evening to support your circadian rhythm. 5. Engage in at least one meaningful social connection or purposeful activity. Whether it is calling a friend or working on a project that lights you up, this checklist is backed by Dr. Roberts' decades of research, showing that small, consistent actions across these areas create a powerful ripple effect for your health. I am excited for you to try it. Imagine the hope and energy you will feel as these habits build a stronger, more vibrant you. Let us wrap this up with some final thoughts next. Today, we explored 5 silent factors that impact thriving past 80. Loss of purpose, social isolation, medication overload, chronic inflammation, and poor sleep. These can feel overwhelming, but Dr. Eleanor Roberts' research shows your body stays resilient. Even in later years, aging doesn't mean decline. Take Dr. Roberts' patient, an 86-year-old man using a walker and 12 meds. In 18 months, by addressing these factors, he traveled solo, cut down to 3 meds, and tested a decade younger. That's inspiring. These factors aren't fixed. You can change them to add vibrant years to your life. Picture yourself in your 90s, energetic, clear, and joyful. Which factor resonates with you? Share your thoughts below. Hit like to spread this hope, and subscribe for more tips to age well. You've got this.